On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love yourself? The answer is not a 10. We got some work to do. Your relationship with yourself is the only relationship you will have for your entire life. And today we have Suzanne Harrill, author of How to Love Yourself, 365 Days of the Year out. This book is now out on Amazon. Suzanne has helped people for over 30 years build self-esteem, heal old wounds, and reconnect with who they really are. Her work blends psychology, spirituality, and a whole lot of heart. She has a beautiful gift of making deep inner work feel accessible and gentle. She's a longtime therapist, coach, friend, grandmother, artist. This is her work. And truly one of the brightest voices in the self-growth space. I'm so excited to have this conversation with her today and for you to tune in. I hope you take away some things for you to love yourself a little bit more, and definitely purchase her book on Amazon today. I'll talk to y'all soon. Yeah, let's take these off. I don't want to wear them. I feel so much better. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Don't look at my toenail.
Okay, yeah, mine neither. Fair. Okay, well, Suzanne Harrill, this is a special episode. This is really, I feel like really special for me, one, and I hope for our listeners, because you are such an accomplished professional author, and truly, for Gathered Glow, you are the light. When I talk about people shining their light and impacting others and encouraging others to shine their light, you have been doing that for so long in so many ways and so many channels. And just from even meeting you and knowing you to seeing the work that you are doing and putting out in the world, it is truly, and we've had this conversation, so you know, something that has inspired me to kind of follow in your footsteps, cultivating gifts, putting it out in the world, and being bold enough to do it. And so how we met, I feel like, is a fun story, and the full circle moment of today as well.
Yeah, we met on a trip to Egypt, and we were sitting in the back of the bus with your mom, and just started chatting, and then we knew you for the trip.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect, I expected to enjoy Egypt and the history. And I think for a trip like that, I felt called to go. And so for many reasons, it was special to me. But the gift that I wasn't expecting was really the people I was going to meet and how they would change my life and really make that trip really special. So I'm so glad that I got to connect with you and meet you, and that you're here today.
Likewise.
Yeah. And so I want to go back to that Egypt trip. That Egypt trip, oh my gosh, almost 6 years ago now. The journey of oneself in the last 6 years. And I feel like in the last 6 years, we all lived through a global pandemic. We've gone through so much of sometimes feeling connected with people, sometimes feeling very isolated. And a lot of your work has been around how to love yourself, self-love, self-esteem, and growth. And I feel like now more than ever, I'm realizing how much, even if we desire that connection outside ourselves, we have to start within ourselves. And so I wanted to just get your advice, your take on how to start cultivating that love.
It's an inside job, so you have to spend time with yourself, and you have to be willing to examine your life and what's working, what's not working. And as you study yourself, you see where the glitches are. You see where your conditioning passed on some stuff that got in the way of you thinking that you have to earn your worthiness. You can't earn it. It's your birthright. And so to get in touch with that, you have to spend time alone and eventually connect to the higher power, being in nature, meditating, journal writing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's really deep. I think it's really deep because it is hard sometimes to sit with one's own self and thoughts and for even a few minutes, right? I feel like it's hard even to stare in the mirror at yourself for an extended period of time can be a little uncomfortable. How did you come to this realization and what was your journey and understanding yourself and like self-esteem and that inner sitting with that inner voice?
Well, most of my journey started with being unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm unhappy, then I want to go figure it out.
Yeah.
An example from my life is my parents argued a lot when I was little, and it, made me sick to my stomach. I didn't like that. And I thought in my head, I'm not going to do that. Well, I went too far not wanting conflict, and that doesn't work either.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was older, then I gathered information. How do you be a good communicator? How can I express myself when I don't want to express myself? And fortunately, there's so many wonderful teachers out there. And, I just inhaled books that taught me how to have a good relationship, how to know myself. And it just seems like life has brought me experiences. I got into self-esteem when my husband got transferred to Louisiana back in the day. And there was a little university in Thibodaux, Louisiana. And I applied to that university. I had a master's in counseling, and I had these Mothers Don't Work tapes in my head. And at the time, I had a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old, and it was a push-pull within, but I got a job teaching. And part of the curriculum was to build the self-esteem of the students that did not score high in college. Well, it changed my life. I mean, I didn't even know what the emotional wellness piece was. And this is before we had any talk on, emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
We're talking about, 1980. And anyways, it thoroughly impacted me. It changed how I parented and all kinds of good things.
Yeah. Whoa. I mean, a lot of what you said, I feel like for many people, like it, some in our generation is like emotional intelligence. It's been around, right? Like they are being exposed to it really early on. But for so many, the resources weren't that readily available. Like now there's podcasts and there's different channels and books. But I think that part of it, for me, part of the experience of self-esteem is when you're unhappy, like you said, that seeking. Before you even know what you're really going to find, the part of you that says, I'm willing to invest enough in myself to know that there is just something more that I need to find. There's something, right? There's something that I need to correct. And I love myself enough to know that I'm not willing to settle in this mindset or mentality. And I really love that when you ask that question or you put that desire, like I'm unhappy and I want to change this, that it comes to you from information you acquire, but also, like you said, you didn't know that you were going to write, help with self-esteem of children and really have to invest in learning that. And I think the universe, God, higher power being, gives you what you need when it sees you taking the effort to find it.
Yeah, one thing that you're saying is you might be able to listen to podcasts in the current generation. on emotional intelligence or loving yourself. But, the first few years of life when parents don't know that and don't live it, or if they only know it intellectually and they can't model it, then we as an adult have to move out of being a victim of people that didn't know these higher truths. And the podcasts introduce us. But then we have to go further examining our life and sign up for seminars or read books and actually do the exercises in the books. It's like one of my books, Enlightening Cinderella, is a relationship book. And the fairy godmother comes back and teaches Cinderella a lot of things when she's miserable 10 years after. But at the end of every chapter, there's all these questions about your own relationships. So doing the exercises makes a difference.
That's hard, though. I mean, I think it's hard. I think it's hard. Okay. For everyone listening, I hope that everyone actually does exercises. I don't think it's hard to think about the exercises. I think when you are that you have to put pen to paper and actually write it. It's one thing where you're like, read it and think.
There's hardly anybody that is willing to do that right off the bat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a commitment and it kind of grows over time. But if you want to do therapy on yourself and save a bunch of money, you can do that with your journal writing. But hey, it's like I have a hard time motivating myself to exercise, so I have to pay for it. So I pay somebody to coach me. So sometimes you need a therapist or you need a coach to make you answer the question.
And the questions, sometimes they are, you think it's going to be one answer and then you start writing and you realize something else came out.
Yes.
And you have to sit with that and you're like, ooh, that's not what I thought was going to come out.
Yeah, there's other parts of me that know more than I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like I think writing is important, but in the journey of how to love yourself, do you think it's important to have accountability partners, people that you like, a community that you can talk to or share with?
I think that's wonderful. I grew up in the day when everything was done solo because there weren't that many of us out there. But yes, that's a wonderful way to have at least one person that accepts you the way you are and is encouraging you when you stumble and fall and reminding you of your inner beauty and all that good stuff. Yes.
Yeah. It makes a big difference. The days where you're like, I'm just down on myself, having someone be that reminder, that mirror back to you of like, I don't know what, you got some fog or some dirt on your glasses, like you are amazing. And give yourself props. We know that there tends to be a real negative bias in our thought process, right? So like we will remember negative events more than we do positive, and we give more energy to it. And with so much, I think, deeming, like trying to like grab our attention, social media, calendar, invites, emails, all of the things. What would you recommend or say is a good way to not just maintain positivity, but remain centered and present and positive? When there's so many things, it's like breaking news, this is happening. Natural disaster, this is happening. Here's an ad saying that you anti-aging and weight loss and all of these things that kind of, even in the most beautiful marketing, can kind of chip away at how you feel.
Well, I'm happy to say affirmations are very important they change your self-talk. They change your beliefs over time. And I know people under the age of 40 don't like to read the self-help books like my generation did. And I'm happy that my daily affirmation book just gives one page to remind us to take care of ourselves emotionally and to build that belief system that we weren't conditioned with.
Yes.
And to move out of being down on ourselves when we compare ourselves with other people, which is one of the worst things we can do to ourselves.
Yeah.
We're incomparable.
That's good. We are, but it is like we're constantly taught, you mentioned like how parenting is important, right? Like how you were parented in the early years. Mm-hmm. But throughout school, throughout everything, it's like a ranking always, right? Mm-hmm. Who is at the top? Who's at the lowest? What's your GPA? And maybe you're creative, but that's not weighted or ranked the same way. Who does the society deem most attractive? Who's taller? Who's skinnier? Who's all these? It is really hard, even when intellectually, I shouldn't be comparing myself. Comparison is a thief of joy. It is still hard sometimes not to.
It's hard, but that doesn't stop you from doing something positive, working with one affirmation a day or one affirmation a month. I'm good even when I don't like my behavior. Yes. I'm good even when I don't like my weight. I'm good. I'm a good person inside, even if I don't match up to other people. And it's like, I have written books for years and I'm starting to rewrite some of those books and reissue them. But back in the day, some of my friends were just skyrocketing with their books and I wasn't.
Yeah.
But I have to live what I'm teaching.
Yes.
I'm teaching myself.
Yes.
So I taught self-esteem workshops for 25 years because I needed to learn it.
And it's a never-ending journey, I feel like as long as we're part of ourselves and this body, we will always, it never changes. We go through so many different seasons, phases, changes, that it's not like I discovered this and I'm good, I'm done, right? It's a continuous. And I really, really, as someone who is a millennial, love 365-day affirmations. I feel when I heard that you were publishing this book, I honestly, I lit up. I was like, this is so needed, because daily for me to start my day, it is almost like those people, like the 5 a.m. club who wake up at 5 a.m. to go work out. And they're like, this is the best, most productive part of my day. For me, getting centered with myself is the most critical catalyst of the way and the productivity of my day. If I don't, it feels chaotic. Some days I feel like I'm spinning.
See, that's one of the secrets of life that most people ignore, try to skip that step. But, the way you feel about yourself is the foundation of everything. Everything.
And in small, consumable, digestible chunks, it's almost like that supplement every day, or that vitamin B shot,
There you go. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
It's so invigorating. And what's I think interesting is some people have an affirmation and they say one to themselves every day. And I think that's really good. But then sometimes you realize, I think being challenged to think about something and say it out loud every day, it starts to take you through a journey of, I really thought I was centered in this area, but now saying this out loud and feeling how it feels coming out of my mouth, I realized I was saying it, but I wasn't feeling it in my body. And with affirmations, I think the more you start saying them every day, you start realizing, where do I sense that confidence in actually saying this in my body? Am I just saying the words? Are they just coming out? Or do I feel the truth of it.
And saying it out loud is very important. That uses more of your senses than just thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to read a couple. Can I read a couple?
Sure.
Okay. I'm just going to open up and choose at random.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it.
So I'm going to choose. Ooh, this is a good one. And then I want to hear your thoughts on it. This one's really good. Humor. I use humor daily. When I take myself too seriously, I miss enjoying the moments by being too much in my head. In too big of a hurry, worrying, judging, or trying to control things. I use humor to lighten up. When I lighten up, I make wiser choices and I handle every situation with ease. I release pent-up feelings and tensions when I laugh at myself, as well as express my joy and happy feelings. I lighten up with humor and laughter. Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, and if you have a friend that likes to laugh, that's even better, because when you can't do it by yourself, you call that friend and they'll remind you that there's something funny about your situation.
Yes. I think humor, the saying humor is the best medicine. It really is, though. It is the first thing that I think not only breaks the ice, but it shakes you out of anything that you're feeling. Like we talk about like somatic releasing and like feeling where things are coming up in your body. I feel like laughter takes so many muscles. It takes so many muscles. It releases the best chemical feeling in your brain. And it gives you more clarity.
And it works with the solar plexus, which is your feeling emotional brain.
Yeah.
So you're really getting those feelings moving.
I think the older and this is me just being vulnerable, I feel like I love to laugh. It is like my favorite thing. And I tell people that. A few years ago, more than a few years ago, maybe like 7 years ago, I realized I'm not laughing as often. I laugh less and less. And there was one stretch of time where I was like, I don't think I've had a really good, hard belly laugh in months. And that was unusual for me. Like I'm ready to crack up. It was really sad. And I think I started to realize that sometimes in professional settings or even some friendship settings, some people lack a sense of humor. And it is hard. Like they almost look at humor as like
a waste of time.
Yeah. Like you need to be serious and stoic and like
get things done.
Yes. Productivity and hard work and like all of these like words. And you're like, where's the balance in this?
Yeah. Where's the being and the doing?
Yes. And if I keep trying to put on this like I'm deteriorating myself a little bit inside. I'm making this light of mine smaller. Mm-hmm. I'm not enjoying life as much. And it just feels like only laugh in these settings. And these settings don't have as much fun. Don't lean into humor and joy. And I think it really changed my life, realizing I'm going to make more choices to laugh, to find humor. And to find humor in error, in mistakes. That was a big one for me. In the like, oh, I messed up, but that's okay. Like, laughing at this is not that I don't take myself or the situation seriously. It's that I know life is just experiences. And we can do better.
Next time you'll get another chance.
Yes, exactly.
You'll get another chance.
Yeah.
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 I want to add something to what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
There's a certain place where you have to learn to have an internal locus of control. Because, like, if I had to pick something that can still get me, is if somebody doesn't like me or criticizes me or is rude, it's like my first inclination is I've done something wrong without going through a process. But over time, the words and actions of other people have to be released, and you have to remind yourself, I'm not going to crash because that person's angry at me or doesn't understand me or wants me to be different than I am. And so that internal locus of control is so good. But our first response is to react to the outer. And I'd say most of us do that. And then another point I want to make is it's almost like you have to have soul esteem. You get your highest okay, I'm of value, when you know that you're part of a greater being that's physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. The spiritual part of us is so important that we can get into psychology and not remember that part. So when we allow the soul to kind of infuse, no matter what kind of mistake or what you've done, you feel guilty about, it's kind of like you have to get that you're worthy.
Yeah.
You can't earn it. It's your birthright.
Yes.
From spirit.
I know that's like this long pause, but I've never heard like the soul esteem, and that is the foundation of who we are. That is the essence, the core. And the self changes so much and fades, and so we are always having to kind of, keep up and talk it through its journey and its process and its highs and lows and what it's feeling every day. And not that our soul doesn't go through evolutions, but it's a steady essence that's always there. And I think, you saying that made me realize how often we separate it out from our actual self.
Yes.
And instead of aligning it and like we're taking this journey together and in the core and the heart of me, even just looking at the science, what are the odds of me even being here on this planet at this time? The ancestors, the people that came before me, every move, everything that they experienced in life, the odds for me to even be here.
And to be this aware and to want to actualize your potential.
Yeah.
And keep building on your awareness.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop.
It doesn't.
No. That's the exciting thing about being aware and aging.
Yeah.
You get wisdom.
Yeah.
It's not just intellectual anymore.
I've always been deeply connected with feeling my soul and knowing that I am spirit, and that has been so strong of a feeling for me. Like I've known, like the knowingness of that has, but I kind of talked about it in an episode, but I wore a mask realizing that not everyone else was as comfortable on that. And so I started comparing myself and figuring out, how can I massage what I say or how I say it to fit into the vocabulary, language norm of others, and not shine too bright. And I think the interesting thing about self-esteem, soul esteem, sometimes we think about it as like the person who is like really down on themselves, like, and feels a lot of weight or heaviness. But I think on the flip side, sometimes when people realize they are wonderful, they then look to others. If they don't want to stand out too much, they dim, or they make themselves smaller. Or maybe they have good ideas and they're like, I know I have good ideas, but I don't want to say it because I don't want to rock the boat too much. I don't want to intimidate others. How do you feel like working through affirmations helps both people who are feeling like they don't see their worth as much, or those that see it and know it, but have a hard time stepping into it?
I think you just described that inner locus of control very well. And it's just, we have to keep reminding ourselves that if I'm shining my light and I'm not coming from ego trying to be better than you or show you what I can do that you can't do, then it's okay. But if you're into your ego, that's what we're all, some of us are like afraid that we're going to be into our ego and misuse that power, which we don't want to do.
Yes. Let's talk about that. Some of us are afraid of that. Yeah. Because you look around though, and there's a lot of ego power that is they're giving accolades for, right? There's a lot of like self-driven, sometimes unhealthy powers, right? Out there.
Yeah, many times.
That are applauded. And when you start seeing that, it makes you think, maybe me. Maybe the ego in me is like, it learns from the information that I can take in environments. We learn that way. And sometimes it's hard to say like, this is what the route success looks like, or power, or leadership, command, control, act like you're better than.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. And when you're seeing these messages and you're seeing people succeed in some ways, success, and you know that that's not aligned with your soul's purpose, how do you reason those two?
Well, first of all, you have to hang around with people that resonate with you so that you can remind yourself that all the world doesn't operate that way. People I hang out with support being your true self and shining your light and aren't afraid of you being that powerful on what you're good at, because you're going to honor them when they stand up and they're good at something else, and you'll honor them, but you're not like trying to beat anybody but yourself.
We could have a whole hour episode on just that.
Well, we're hitting a lot of topics here.
Yes. Yeah. Oh man, I wanted to share something with you, and you feel like it's
share.
Okay. I feel like in the word love, we say like how to love ourselves, and a lot of people think love like romantically so much. I think I get a little frustrated sometimes. I'm like, I never hear love really in the workplace unless they say, love what you do. You're like, okay, you're just basically wanting me to work hard.
I love this chocolate cake.
Yeah, yes. And then it's acceptable. But using love in other capacities, it's highly like associated with like romance, right? And I think that love and romance are not the same thing.
Yeah, well, the Greeks have 3 words for love. Agape, that's God's love for humanity. And then there's romantic love. There's, love of your friends.
Yeah.
But the love that we're talking about is of the mind, of consciousness, of God. It's a choice. It's the truth behind everything. And as we wake up more and more that truth, we don't have to say love in the workplace, but people respond to an open heart.
Yeah, you feel it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a certain percentage of people that are so closed that they don't want you to shine your light onto them or make them feel loved because they're uncomfortable with that. But the majority of people really respect kindness, interest, eye contact, pausing,
being present.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Yeah. A friend of mine, we took a yoga class together. She's one of my best friends. I love her dearly. The moment I met her, I was like, we're going to be soul sisters. We took a yoga class together and we had to sit like knee to knee and hold our gaze, right?
Yes.
And to this day, she brings up how deeply uncomfortable it made her. She was like, I hated every second of that. And I was like, I loved every second of that. I'm staring into the eyes of like one of my favorite people. I love it. And she was like, nope, it made me so uncomfortable. And so I think in that moment, I realized that like what feels good for me does not always feel good for someone else. And sometimes it's that muscle. Like the more they work it, the more they do the inner work and get comfortable with holding space or being present or being more seen. But you have to like give people their own time to find that, right? To like go at their pace.
And there's personality types, different personality types. And, some people are more introverted and, don't want that much of an exchange.
Yeah.
But when you're more extroverted, it's easier for you to just love that.
Yeah. I'm like, don't you love this? I love this. Yeah. I like working with different personalities, but it is always easier to see something in someone else than yourself, which is why I really like this like daily affirmation, because it's a moment to just kind of check in with yourself too. Because I think we talk about not comparing ourselves to others, but how many times are we comparing others and judging others, right? You should be more extroverted. You should be more this. You should be more that. Going through all of these like criteria that you see in them, right? And that's why I think it's beautiful, like you said, community. Sometimes they can be your advocates and supporters. Sometimes they're the mirror you need to see for yourself. But I feel like a daily reminder to kind of check in with yourself, to not overjudge others or you. Because when you start doing the work inside of you, I feel like you judge others less. You're more compassionate, gentle, easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a secret. The degree that you love yourself is the degree you can love other people.
Yeah.
And
that is a big secret. I feel like you said it very modestly right now, but that is
and people that don't love themselves, they're hard to be around.
Yeah. Oh.
And they hide their insecurities. And
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're around someone that okay, sorry, I'm calling someone out. Obviously, there's someone that came to mind when I thought this, but we've all been around someone where you're like, oh, you're just like choosing misery for yourself and others. I'm like, just a little bit of love for yourself. Do you like yourself? Do you like who you are? Because it really feels like you've boxed yourself in so much that no one else can get in there. Joy is even having a hard time.
And that's people's choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
People do things for their reasons, not my reasons. And so
you really dropped some mic drops today. Yeah. I am excited to go through an entire year, 365 days of how to love myself. And if anyone is listening and you're on the journey of loving yourself better, but not just loving yourself, because the more you love yourself, the more you can love others. Highly recommend. Highly, highly. Is there anything else you want to share?
No, I think this was a wonderful conversation.
I appreciate you so much. And to bring it around, one thing that changed my life in Egypt, we had some meditations and we did some affirmations. And there was an affirmation I learned there that has, I think, transformed my life. Any job interview, any public speaking I've ever done, it was kind of looking at myself in the mirror and saying, I love myself. I love myself no matter what. I love myself if I fall on my face today. I love myself if everyone applauds, like accolades pour in. And every time I say that, it reminds myself that that love, that center never changes based on anything else that's happening. And I have to choose it for me. And when I do that, I feel so powerful in everything that I walk into next. Thank you so much for being here. I have to say that your work, your light, your artwork, which if you ever see the artwork, the piece behind me, you are also an artist, an incredible artist. Thank you for that piece. Is really changing lives. And thank you for the work that you're doing. And thanks for being here, for tuning in. If you are interested, I'm going to link How to Love Yourself 365 Days a Year. You can find it on Amazon. Thank you so much.